Today we're reviewing On Mars, designed by Lacerda and brought to us by Eagle-Gryphon Games. I'm Mark Maya. Welcome to Board Game Coffee. Now, before we get started, I'd like to mention that some of the components that you'll see on the table are from the On Mars upgrade kit that was available with the Kickstarter. On Mars is a 1 to 4 player competitive worker placement, resource management, brain-melting good time that keeps me up at night replaying and analyzing gameplay mechanics. Like a high school football coach reviewing the tapes of the big game and trying to figure out just how I could do better. I don't actually know where to start because there's just so much to On Mars. There's just so much. I mean, just look at this thing. This gorgeous beast of complexity. This right here contains some of the most brain-taxing resource and action management of anything I've ever experienced. I'm in awe of its elegance. As an outside observer, you might just look at this and see a mess of mechanics strewn all over a giant slab of cardboard and wonder how any of it makes any sense. But once you take the plunge and you commit to the learning, and there is a lot of learning, but once you're there at the table, your brain trying to make sense of it all and how it all comes together, you'll reach that point where it just clicks. Then you'll see it. On Mars isn't just a mess of mechanics. It's a finely crafted timepiece with little bits of wood and cardboard moving here and there independently, but still dependent on each other to function as a whole. And I mean as a whole, as in everything and everyone at the table working as one, whether you like it or not. On Mars isn't about you skulking off to one side of the table with your tableau, building your own private engine of point-generating supremacy. It's about contributing to the betterment of the colony, while at the same time standing on the shoulders of others to develop your own tech, to which someone will surely utilize to further their own agenda, and so on and so forth from one generation to the next. A rising tide raises all ships, and you know. Now, if this seems a little heavy, it's because it is. It's a lot of heavy, actually. But just looking at it here on the table, knowing that I'm going to be playing this in just a few hours has me both stimulated and frightened at the same time. Now, some might argue that On Mars is too complicated, and I'm not going to argue that it isn't, because it is. But actually, it's not so much complicated as it is complex. You see, a complicated game has a lot going on, and it's hard to follow, and the rules are a mess. But On Mars is complexity in a neat and tidy box, both literally and figuratively. I mean, just look how tidy. Now, I'll admit, this isn't a game that's going to please everyone, but I don't think that's why it came to this planet. On Mars is here for those of us who want more of a cerebral bite. But you know what? For as complex as On Mars is, I gotta give props to whoever wrote this rulebook. Well, my dog ate mine. The one you'll get will be in one piece. But lucky for me, there was a updated PDF version available online. Now, either in its physical form or its PDF form, this isn't a light 4-page read. This is 24 pages loaded with information, and you're gonna need to know all of it. I mean, I studied this thing hard. I mean, not since my last year of college of exams have I studied this hard. And once all the reading and studying is done, you reach that moment of truth when all that hard work is put to the test and you sit down and begin the teach. Now, the teach for On Mars is an intense one, and I'm talking like 45-minute level intense. So before you start, let your guests know that it's going to be a while, so if they need a pee break, now would be the time. Explain to them that you're not expecting them to learn everything on their first go, and it's okay to ask questions. And there will be questions. But you know the amazing part? I had the answers. Let that be a testament to how exceptionally well this rulebook is written. I mean, not once, not a single time did I feel the need to go online searching for answers. Not once. I mean, do you know how rare that is for me? I question everything. I've played games that could be taught in a fraction of the time that it would take me to teach on Mars, and those games have had me over at BGG looking up rules more times than I'd like to admit. And if there are any questions like, what the hell does that mean, or this thing, there's a reference guide with easy to follow, clear, concise explanations of all the in-game iconography. It's just so there. The answers are just there. Now, you're probably asking yourself, if the rule book is so well written, why do you need a reference book? Well, here's the thing. The reference book isn't so much explaining the mechanics of the game, although it does do that as well. Its purpose is to act as more of a iconography to English translator, which is important because the majority of the language used in On Mars is made up of iconography, or if you prefer, Marsanese. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, what a pain in the ass. I gotta open up this book every time I want to figure out what an icon is telling me. No, you don't. And you know why? Because it's so well done. You'll learn to read the iconography of On Mars as well as you can read your own language. It's like those movie archaeologists that can look at a series of eyeballs and bird etchings and tell you that the end of the world is nigh, or that the lever to the secret vault is 3 bricks over to the left. By the time I played through my first game, I was reading the iconography with little to no need for the reference guide. By the time I was halfway through my second game, I was fluent in Marsanese. Now, On Mars is too big to give you a full overview, so let me give you the Cliff's Notes. Each player takes a turn performing 2 actions, one main action and one executive action. Main actions are found on the board, where executive actions are found off the board. One of the things players can do with these actions is develop new technology to further the development of the colony. Thing is, no matter who develops the tech, everyone at the table has access to it. But if someone does borrow your tech, or vice versa, the tech owner will either receive a free resource or a free tech upgrade of the tech you just borrowed. It's a really, really cool mechanic. Gameplay takes place either in orbit or on the planet's surface. Each of these locations has its own set of actions that can be taken by the player, assuming, of course, that's where their player marker currently resides. Traveling back and forth requires you to hitch a ride on the shuttle, so timing your trips and actions is vital to your success. Or should I say, vital to your success. Get it? Britt, get it? Like, he designed...
Yeah, I know. It's still terrible.
Oh, come on. Vital, vital...
Just stop.
Oh, and there's these scientists. Recruit these brainy guys and gals, and you can send them to a location to perform its action for free. And it doesn't even have to be your own facility. You can send your scientists to someone else's facility and use the abilities there. But there's a catch. You see, if there's a scientist at another player's facility, they also get to use that facility's ability for free. I love that. And there's so much more. Those are just a few examples of all the stuff you can do. I haven't even touched on expanding colonist shelters, the rocket hangars that increase your storage capacity and population numbers, these little rovers and robots that scurry around the planet's surface, collecting, building, and destroying. Or this thing that rewards you for building up the colony. There's just so much, and I love all of it, and I want more. No, scratch that. There's plenty here. I don't need any more. I just got caught up in the moment. I'm good. Fun fact. Every time I've played on Mars, no matter what time of day I've played it, I've come out of it absolutely exhausted. And it's not just me. Everyone at the table was just mentally wiped out. It's like a workout for your brain, and I dig it. I feel satisfied. Even if I lose, I feel like I've accomplished something. But win or lose, I always feel like I can do better. And next time I play, I hope I do. But will I? I mean, I could improve on my last strategy. It did win me the last game I played, but maybe I want to try something else. Why? Because I can. With On Mars, there's not just one road to victory, there's lots. And different combinations of strategies that are just as viable as the next. Will there be some strategy combinations that are just poo? Yeah, maybe. But that's okay, because you're gonna learn from those missteps and you'll still want to go back. I've played with a few different groups now, and every time we finish a game, everyone wants to play again. Maybe not right away because our brains are mush, but soon. Every time we've sat down with On Mars, a game has taken us about 4 to 5 hours with Teach. So this is not a light game, but it is the right kind of heavy. I've come to the conclusion that I really like games about colonizing Mars. I mean, this theme combined with Ian O'Toole's amazing artwork and Vital Lacerda's thematically appropriate game mechanics fits this game like a glove. And it just feels, oh, so right. Well done, Mr. Lacerda, Mr. O'Toole, and I believe I speak for all of us when I say, keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is awesome. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee. But if you want to see more right now, we got plenty of videos to choose from. And if that's not enough, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Mark Maya, and this is Board Game Coffee. And remember, have fun, keep gaming, be social. See you next week.